What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm doing a review that's a little bit different than usual, and well, you just kind of have to see it to believe it. So unlike my usual reviews where I actually get a chance to wear the sneaker around and get a feel for how the shoe feels on foot and how it looks, this time I wanted to make this sort of a two-part video because I wanted to give you guys sort of my honest initial reactions of how this sneaker looks. This is the first time I think Nike genuinely might actually be trolling us, and I don't say that lightly because usually with brands they're trying to make money, so they're trying to make the best product possible. But with this shoe, I just can't imagine who would actually buy this unironically. So why don't we bust into this and see what we've got. This was a shoe that I ordered last week, and I had to get one-day shipping because I really wanted to get this video out because of how insane this sneaker is. I couldn't believe, I still can't believe that it's a real thing. Here we go. Get the receipt out of the way. Here's the box. So you've got this black matte Nike box with some glossy Nike text on the side. You've got the words Martine Rose, who is a British designer out of London. I'm sure by now you guys have probably figured out what sneaker this is. This is honestly some pretty nice packaging for a sneaker that usually costs 60 bucks. This particular version of the shoe costs 250. It's not a joke, it really costs 250 bucks. So why don't we just get this over with. What the f? This genuinely looks worse in hand than it does online. I didn't think that was possible. Straight up, this is the most nuts thing I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe this is real. I think I'm dreaming. Like, I feel like I'm dreaming. This is unbelievable. Are you sure this isn't a joke? I mean, I guess the joke's on me because I'm the one who spent 250 bucks on it. So, oh God. Well, I'm back. I've had some time to play with the Martine Rose Air Monarch 4s, and I'll be honest, originally I was going to go in on this shoe and I was going to talk about how much I dislike the sneaker, and while I still don't love it visually, and in fact I actually think it looks horrible aesthetically, I did watch an interview with Martine Rose and I sort of got the idea behind her design intent, and I sort of understood what she was going for, and from what I could gather, she's really trying to push the boundaries and really get people talking about her sneaker, which she 100% did with this shoe. So because now I've actually had a chance to listen to the artist and listen to her idea behind the shoe, I feel like I can't really bash it because it doesn't seem right. I'm not gonna say that Nike was trolling, even though still think that could be a possibility. Yes, I do think they could have named the sneaker the Air Bunion 4, or the really needs to get a physical and get that lump checked out 4, or you know, any sort of name like that. But I'm not gonna do that. Martine Rose and Nike, if you're all watching this, I'm sorry, I have to do it. I'm so sorry. I don't want to, but I mean, have you seen it? In a way, I kind of think this is what Martine Rose wanted. I think she wanted people to talk about the sneaker and just open a discussion and really open some discourse between people about what design is and what it can be. And in that way, I respect it because she definitely pushed the boundaries. But as someone who loves sneakers and as someone who wears sneakers, as most people in the world do, you wouldn't catch me dead in this. If you didn't already know, this is the Martine Rose Air Monarch 4. It's a collaboration between British artist Martine Rose and Nike. It comes in 3 different colorways, this OG Monarch colorway, a glossy pink, and a glossy black. And all 3 of those pairs retail for $250 US, which is unbelievable. Right here we have the standard Air Monarch 4, which this sneaker is sort of like a Photoshop warped version of. This shoe is sort of the quintessential dad shoe. Every dad seems to have a pair. They wear them to cookouts, they wear them to pretty much anything that your dad would need sneakers to. It comes in both regular sizing and wide foot sizing, so it fits pretty much everyone, and it retails for $65. Because of how normal and ubiquitous this sneaker is, it's sort of become a meme because everyone seems to have it, and Nike's really started to catch on to that, which in some ways is good, in some ways is bad. I think in this way, it's bad. And I can only assume that Martine Rose picked this silhouette because of the sort of middle America stigma behind it, which yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm really trying to be nice about this shoe, but every time I look at it, it makes me want to call it the "Hey you guys" force, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. So why don't we jump right into this review and start unpacking what is by far the most confusing sneaker I've ever seen. Starting off on the toe of the shoe, you have this pretty decent but still relatively plasticky feeling white tumbled leather. As you can see on the medial side of the toe, you've got this, I can only call it really like a bump or some sort of lump situation going on. Not totally sure what the deal is with that, but hey, it's there. And it just looks bad. When I first saw the shoe online, I wasn't sure if these bumps were hollow or maybe like they gave you a little bit extra toe room, at least for your big toe. But no, they're just straight like pieces of, I don't know, some sort of synthetic material inside the leather that kind of makes them protrude in a way that's unpleasant. So these bumps are neither functional or attractive. You know those people who get like the body modifications where they put in like those bumps to make horns on their forehead? That's sort of exactly what they did here. They put something underneath the leather to kind of give it this bump. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know why you do that. As you continue up the toe, you find these 6 navy blue accents, which on the regular Monarch are actually ventilation holes. On this particular pair, they're just straight up just painted on accents. They're not really there for any reason. Above that, you've got this white leather flap with this blue Nike swoosh. And then as you continue up the sneaker, you get to these pretty standard white Monarch laces. Underneath the laces on the leather tongue, you've got another one of these really weird bumps. And this one is really difficult to actually see. So I'm not sure why they put it on the tongue because it kind of removes all the flex from the tongue. So it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. This really looks like a diseased shoe. Like I don't really understand it. At the top of the tongue, you've got this white leather panel with this navy Air Monarch branding. My pair apparently came with an extra piece of loose white thread. So that's a nice little bonus. Moving inside the sneaker, you've got this navy blue mesh sock liner, which is almost exactly the same mesh that they use in the Air Jordan 1s. The insole of the sneaker comes in navy blue with your standard Air Monarch branding actually sort of blacked out on the heel, and then you've got Martine Rose's signature printed over top of it in white. As for sizing, this sneaker does seem to fit pretty much exactly the same as your standard regular sized Air Monarch. True to size, it doesn't come in wide sizing, which is unfortunate, especially when you're paying $250 for it. I do have to say, because these bumps are so stiff, they actually make the shoe not very flexible, so it's not the most comfortable sneaker to walk around in. In the 10 minutes that I walked around this sneaker, before I just had to rip them off my feet, it was not the most comfortable thing. As you continue back on the lateral side, you get to the king of all lumps, the lumpiest of the lumpy, I guess the Mount Everest of the midfoot. Once again, the actual detail itself is very stiff. It's got no give to it, and it kind of creeps me out a little bit. Resting on top of the peak of the lump, you've got this silver Nike swoosh surrounded by this navy blue embroidery. And then right above the lump, you've got Martine Rose's signature, also in navy blue. The medial side of the sneaker is no different, except the lump is actually a little bit less lumpy, which, you know, is probably a good thing. When you look at the top of the sneaker, you can really see the differences in the lump sizes. A weird sort of design omission, I guess, that's actually on both sides of the sneaker is that near the end of the tail of the Nike swoosh, the embroidery kind of just stops. And I would assume that's because they can't really embroider over 2 different leather panels. But I feel like there was probably a better way to do that wouldn't look as janky. You know, actually the whole shoe is kind of janky. As you continue back on the sneaker, you've got, oh, surprise, another lump. This one's just kind of more of a cheekbone situation or like a really wide wrinkle or ripple. Not sure exactly why they felt the need to add that one. And then moving around to the heel of the sneaker, you've got, oh, is that? Yeah, it's another lump. This one is by far the most asymmetrical, and the asymmetry is made very apparent by this blue line that sort of gets wider as you get to the peak of the lump. This is like one of those situations where I feel like I'm not supposed to stare, but I just can't stop staring. A detail that you may have missed because of the lump is the Air branding and the pull tab in white and blue. And then as you move down on the sneaker, you finally get to some normality with the standard Air Monarch midsole. This shoe, like the standard Air Monarch, comes with full-length Nike Air, which is surprisingly comfortable, except this particular version is, like $200 more expensive than the standard one? And it's got the same technology. Actually, one thing that I just noticed that I really wanted to point out is that because the upper of this sneaker is so stiff, and because these lumps sort of pull on the midsole in different ways, the bottom of the sneaker isn't actually flat. Like, you can't actually have this sit flat on a table. It kind of rocks from side to side, which is not a great thing. Maybe don't buy this shoe for performance. And then finally, moving to the bottom of the sneaker, you get to your standard navy and white Nike Air Monarch 4 outsole. The Martine Rose Air Monarch 4 is nothing if it's not eye-catching. It's definitely a study in how far someone can take crazy and still somehow produce a $250 product that people like me seem to buy. In all seriousness, I will say this, props to Martine Rose for creating something that's so out there that it really created an open discussion for what sneakers are and what they can be. And I think it's safe to say that this sneaker definitely has changed sneaker culture. I don't know if that's in a good way or a bad way, but it's definitely sort of pushed the boundaries, and I'm actually kind of excited to see where sneaker design goes from here. I honestly hope we don't get too much more of this, but you know what? I'm not mad that this is in the world. I'm just mad that I spent $250 on it. But that pretty much wraps up my review for today. I would love to know your thoughts on this sneaker and whether you'd ever consider grabbing this sneaker, whether that's just for the meme or you actually like this shoe. So make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.